Hi there, I'm Eitan, and welcome back to the Wix Wiz. Today we're going to be talking about how you can add in custom fees to your cart and checkout without the need to completely customize and redesign your entire cart and checkout pages. And we're going to be doing this using the relatively new Wix SPIs and specifically the eCommerce Additional Fees SPI. And for example, what this will allow you to do is customize and add a condition where if you're shipping, for example, within the United States, then there's no additional fee. But if you go ahead and change the location that you're shipping to another country, for example, Egypt, and I go ahead and click update on that, then the international shipping fee is added based on code that I wrote in the backend of our website. So if you want to learn how to do that and more, let's get started. Okay, so before we get started coding, let's just talk a little bit about the prerequisites that I have set up here. First of all, I have the Wix Stores app installed. So if you didn't do that yet and you don't have a store yet on your site, you're going to need to install that. And the second thing I did is I have turned on dev mode just so that we can add code to our website. I've also opened up some of the documentation here. So here you can see this is the documentation for all of the new Wix SPIs. And currently there are three that I see here, oh no, five, sorry, three that are related to e-commerce. And specifically, we're going to be dealing with the additional fees example today. And this will allow us to add additional fees to the checkout process without needing to completely customize that experience. And you'll see here on the bottom to learn more. So we have just some general information about SPIs and how they work and connect to Wix and stuff like that. I'm not going to go through this at the moment, but I will be following along with this Velo tutorial, and all this documentation I will be linking to in the description below, so you can go down there and check it out. And the last thing that I have open here is the actual documentation in the Velo reference. So here you can see the reference is divided into APIs and SPIs. And APIs would be the reference that you're familiar with. So, everything about Wix bookings and Wix stores and all of the Wix elements, etc. And the SPIs is this new feature that Wix is introducing, which essentially allows you to inject some custom functionality into the Wix apps without needing to completely customize. And the way that these kind of differ from the APIs is that the APIs don't, for the most part, that I can recall, change how the actual app will look. But this, you'll see, will actually make changes to the physical appearance of the app by inserting those additional fees in there. And this is the reference, which just kind of explains the calculate additional fees function, which we'll talk about momentarily. So first of all, let me just show you the problem and just really drill that down before we go ahead and start working on a solution, just so that you know if this is what you're looking for your use case or not. So here I have the example site that I set up. This is the live site. And let's say I just add this product to cart. And then I go here into view cart. And you'll see here that we have the actual item, we have the subtotal, we have shipping. But let's say I have some kind of additional cost that I want to add in here. So it could be a special tax that's only levied in certain areas or shipping to certain areas. It can be some kind of bagging fee. And Wix actually goes ahead and gives a few examples over here in terms of things that you might want to add this for. So, gift wrapping fees, shipping fees. And in this tutorial, we're really going to show how you can customize these fees based on certain information that's coming either from the products or from the checkout experience itself, let's say the person's address. So let's get started and just follow through with the basic installation. So you have this explained here in this tutorial, and I'm going to be following along with it because it's pretty straightforward and a pretty good explanation. So we already did this, the Wix Stores app, and this is an important note that this also can work with the Wix Bookings app as well. I'm showing this current demonstration with Wix Stores. We enabled dev mode. So these are the two prerequisites that I talked about. Now we're going to go to the code part of our website, so where we have the backend and public codes. That would be right over here in the editor. And you'll see here public and backend. And here on top is public and backend. And we've used these a lot in our previous tutorials. And this is the place where you can add the new SPIs. So in order to do that, you'll just click the plus button right over here. And we're going to be adding in the additional fees extension. So I'm just going to click that right in and start now. I'm going to agree to this legal notice. If you could read it just to make sure that it fits with whatever you're doing. And I'm going to give a name to my extension. So here, if let's say you're adding a certain tax or something like that, you might want to name it something meaningful so you know what this is. I'm just going to call this fee demo because I'm going to be showing you several different things here and not only just taxes or only gift wrapping fees or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add the code in. And this might take a moment. There we go. And you can see here that two files have been added. So we have the the fee demo config, and we have the feedemo.js, where the feedemo.js is where we're actually going to be writing out this calculate additional fees function. And that's pretty much the only thing that should be included here inside of this file. And basically whatever this returns is going to be the fee that is added to the store. Okay, and this function runs at several specific points, and it's fired also when you're in the cart and also when you're in your checkout and when different things change. So you can think of it kind of as like an event that gets fired off, or sorry, more like an event listener that gets fired off by different events on your site, and I'm going to demonstrate that very shortly. So let's just follow along again with the tutorial. So we added in the extensions, we agreed, and now we need to implement our extension. So here they're showing an example of the actual function. And first of all, I want to actually skip that for a second and just set up the extension config file. And essentially all you need to do in this extension config file is to return an empty object. I'm not so sure why they set it up like this and not just like the way they did it here. So I'm just going to copy this return empty object and I'm just going to go to our site. And you'll see that in the beginning, they set it up so it throws an error. So get config was not implemented. And we need to actually take this and just switch it out. Let me zoom in a bit so we can see the code. This is the config file, and we just need to take this and switch it out for. I'm not 100% sure why they did that, why they don't set it up like this to begin with, why they even give us access to this config file. It might be a room to add some future customizations, but I currently don't see any option to. It might be a way to add. Yeah, so if you don't want to keep all your code in the main extension files, you could add files to the extensions folder and import the functions and objects into the main file. Yeah, I think that's for the calculate additional fees one. Yeah, so I'm not really so sure why they have that config file. Maybe if you know, you can comment below and maybe I'll figure it out at some point. But if you're doing this and you're setting it up and you don't want to do anything fancy, then all you have to do is what I just did, which is to put this return here with the squiggly brackets. So an empty object, and you're done here with the config file. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now we can get to our actual feed demo file. And before we start customizing this, what I want to do is just show you when this function is being run on your site, because I think that that's kind of important to understanding how to use this function. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add into this function console.log running additional fees function. Okay, and we're going to take a look at the backend logs of our website. So I'm just going to click Publish and take a look here in Developer Tools and View Logs. And just by the way, when I was doing this testing earlier, I did not manage to do any of this in preview mode. So basically, you're going to have to publish your site, from what I saw, in order to do any kind of testing regarding these the custom additional fees. And it also did not work for me in a test site. So neither in preview mode, neither in test site. Again, that was my experience. If you experienced something else or you saw something else in the documentation, please do let me know by commenting below. Okay, so we have our logs open and we have a console.log inside of the function. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the live site and I'm just going to go back to the home page and go to the store. And here we have our logs. And here, okay, so it's running additional fee function. I'm going to clear that out. Okay, so we're on the all products page. So now I'm going to go into a product. And basically what I want to see, okay, so you saw it ran the additional fees function when I clicked on a product page. And then if I click add to cart, let's see if it runs it again. First it needs to add to cart. And you saw it ran the additional fees function again. And if I go into view cart, then it ran again twice. And if I, for example, change my shipping destination, so I want to change it to Albania, and you can see here that it ran it again a few times. And if I go here into checkout, okay, I can't accept it on my, so this is a free site, so I can't really go into checkout at the moment. But if I went into checkout, then you would see that this additional fees runs again. Okay, so these are just, this is just a demonstration to show you that this backend function of additional fees is running several times. Each time you essentially interact with the store in some way, this function will be running. Okay, it's really only relevant to us once we get to the cart and the checkout page, because then we can see that actual additional fee being added. So you'll see that momentarily. So let me just go back to the cart page. I just want to see for 1 second. Yeah, so you could see here that also, I think we'll also probably see it here in the sidecar. Let's see. So now I'm going to go into the editor. And what I'm going to do here is, instead of just logging that our function is running, I'm actually going to add in some functionality. And the way that we do this, if we go here into the tutorial, then you can see that what we need to do is we need to return. Let me see. Where is that? Okay, it's more straightforward over here. So what we need to do essentially is we need to return currency and additional fees. Okay, this is what needs to be returned. And the way we set up the additional fees is by adding a code, a name, price, and tax details. Okay, and you can see here that we can add multiple additional fees. So additional fees here is an array, and we're just pushing this specific fee. And I'll show you in a moment how we can add more than one fee if you would like to. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this code over here. And I'm going to put it, just because I find that I make less mistakes if I copy the code instead of trying to write it myself, especially if it's code that I'm not super familiar with. And let's see what they do here. So first of all, I'm going to erase this fee price calculator, because at the moment, we're not going to be doing any special calculations. We'll do that in the next step. So I'm going to get rid of that. The next thing that you see that they have here is the currency. And this needs to match the currency of the site. So you'll see that it says it here, currency, and it says, the additional fee response will be ignored if currency does not match your site's currency. Okay, and the way that they're making sure here that we're matching the site currency is by just getting the currency from the general info Wix site backend. So that ensures that we're getting that info from the site itself, so it'll definitely match up. And we just need to add this import here. I'm going to have that over here on the top. So we're importing Wix site backend and we're getting the currency. So I'm not going to touch that because that makes a lot of sense. Now, if fee price, so at the moment I don't need that condition because we don't have a specific fee price. I'm just going to be making up a specific price. So I'm going to go over here, and this needs to be a string. Okay, you could see that in the documentation as well. So if you go over here, so let's see, this is a string. Additional fees, and all of these are strings. So code is string, name string, price string, tax details, Boolean. Okay, so you just need to make sure that you're matching up because it's kind of counterintuitive to have the price as a string. And yeah, so just note that. So US dollars can have up to 2 decimals. So it could be a string with decimals based on your currency code, etc. I'm not going to get into that. You can read more about it if that's very specific to your case. So let's go over here to the editor, and I'm just going to add a price. So let's say 10. And in my case, it should be, I think, US dollars, or no, actually, it'll probably be in euro. So I happen to be in Europe at the moment, and I just set up this site. So I'm guessing it's going to be in euro. And the code here will just be demo fee, and the name will be demo fee. And I'm pushing, so we're taking this additional fee, we're pushing it into this array, and then we're returning the currency and these additional fees. Okay, so at the moment, and in terms of taxable, I set it to true. So that means that additional tax will be calculated on top of this fee. So if this fee is taxable, then you should write true. If not, then you can write false. I'm just going to write false. And I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And now what you'll see is that when I go to my website and I refresh the cart page over here, and you can see that my demo fee has been added here as another line. Okay, and at the moment there are no conditions, so this demo fee will appear for all checkouts. So it just adds an extra $10 to every single checkout, and there might be use cases for that too. I don't know, you have some kind of permanent fee that you apply to every single checkout. And you can also add more than one fee. So for example, if I go to the website, to the editor, and here, so we have additional fees push this. So let's say I can say, const fee 1 will be equal to this. And then I can say const fee 2 will be equal to essentially the same thing. And this needs another bracket here. This needs another bracket here. And I'll just call this demo fee 1. Demo fee 1, and this will be $10. And this will be demo fee 2. And this will be demo fee 2. And this will be $20. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say additional fees push fee 1 and additional fees push fee 2. Okay, so I'm pushing in 2 fees, and I'm going to go ahead and publish that. And let's go ahead and refresh our cart page. And you can see here that we have demo fee 1 and demo fee 2. Okay, so that's how to add multiple fees in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to customize this fee based on external information. So either based on the product that the person has selected or based on other details pertaining to the cart and the checkout. And in order to do that, we need to first understand the options that are being passed and the context that's being passed into this additional fees function. So if you take a look over here, these are the options that are being passed into all of the calculate fees functions. Okay, and these are passed in automatically. You don't need to, you just have to have options over here inside of the, as a parameter here inside of the function, and it's automatically passed in, and you can tap into it when you're running the function. And that includes the line items. Okay, so this is information about the product, and it includes the shipping address. It includes the shipping info. So here's just some info about who the shipping carrier is and stuff like that. And it includes the buyer details. So first name, last name, etc. So first of all, I'm going to show an example that is pertaining to a specific product. And let's say we want to add an additional fee based on a certain feature of the product. So I'm going to go for a second into my back end of my website here. And I'm just going to make sure that my products have a specific feature. So I'm going to go into Store Products. And let's say I go here into this I'm a product. Products that I have here are just the regular standard products that come as soon as you set up Wix Stores. And let's go and take a look here. So let's say I want to add a shipping weight. Okay, so let's say my shipping weight here will be 10. And I'm going to go ahead and save this product. And then I'm going to go into another product and change the shipping weight to, let's say, 5. And again, I'm showing an example with shipping weight, but it could be any of the properties that are sent into line items. Okay, any piece of information that's sent into line items. If it's not something that's sent into line items, then you'll have to set up a separate collection and basically either manage it using the product IDs or the SKUs, and then kind of query that extra collection when you're running the tax calculation or whatever it is that you're running. So I'm going to go back to my cart page over here, and I already have this product, which is I'm a product. I'm going to go back to my store, and I'm going to add this product as well. So this is the other product that we added a weight for. So you select the color. And I'm going to add just one other product that has no weight at all. Okay, so now we have 3 products, 2 have different weights, and 1 has no weight at all. And now I'm going to go into my editor, and we're going to start writing out some logic for our additional fees based on the products that we're getting. So you can see here that we have options and context. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add here console.log options. And whoops, also need to log the options themselves. And I'm going to do console.log context. And here we're going to have the context. And let me just show you, so I'm going to go ahead and publish. And now we're going to take a look at the backend logs. Whoops, what's this? Payments. Okay, so now I'm looking at the logs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and view cart. Okay, and here you can see the options and the context. Okay, so this is what I just put in the log for. And if we go into options, then you can see here we have, it's a little hard to see in this way, but you can see here that we do have the line items of the products. And you can see here, we have weight 10, weight 5. So basically I can now tap into this and write some kind of logic based on the weight inside of the function. And I could have equally also written it about other properties of the product. But if, for example, it's a property that doesn't come back here, then what I could do is I could just take the product ID. So let's say I have over here the product ID. And then I can create a separate database which will have product ID. It'll have another piece of information, and then I can just query it for that piece of information and write a custom logic based on that. Okay, so that's how I would do it if I didn't have the information here, like weight or SKU or something like that. So let's go to our editor. And now let's write the logic for our extra fee. So I'm going to get rid of fee 2 because don't really need that at the moment. And I'm going to say that our extra fee, so let's say it's going to be the weight. I'm going to add, let's say 50 cents per kilogram, okay, of weight. So what I need to do now is I need to write out a function which will calculate the total weight, sorry, the total fee that we're going to be charging. So I'm going to say const custom fee will be equal to options dot line items dot reduce. And reduce is a function which can aggregate together the different values of an array. And what I'm going to be reducing here is I'm going to say that for a B, their function, sorry, parentheses, and for AB, so A is the total plus B dot weight. Okay, so this, so let's change this from custom fee to aggregated weight. And this should add together all the weights of all the line items, I think. And then what we can do here, let's just add a log just to log all weights. And this will be aggregated weight. And then we can say that our weight fee will be equal to, let's call it weight fee. And this we'll call weight fee. And it'll be the price. We'll need to calculate that separately. So let's say const weight, say const weight price will be equal to aggregated weight times 0.5. And then we can say that this will be weight price dot toString, because remember this needs to be a string, and taxable false, and then we can push in here the weight fee. One small thing that I like to do, so usually I try not to put just a random number like this inside the code, because then if I come back later, I'm like, okay, what is that 0.5? So I could just add like a constant up here. So const weight fee multiplier, let's call it. And then that can be 0.5. And then here I can have the weight fee. And this also helps because like if I have to add this several places in my code, then I can just change it once up here instead of going around and changing it multiple times and not even remembering what exactly it is. Okay, so I recommend that, as like a coding practice. And okay, so unless I made some kind of mistake here with the reduce, which I'd say there's a small chance that I did, then this should work. So let's test it out. And I'm going to go here to the cart page and I'm going to refresh. Cart is empty. Okay. So it did not add the fee, which means I made some kind of mistake. Let's take a look at our logs. Okay. All weights is undefined. Okay, so I made some kind of mistake here with the reduce. Let's take a look. Options.lineitems.reduce. So maybe I didn't add the 0 here. That makes it start at 0. That might have been a mistake. Let's try that out. And refresh the cart. Oh. Let's see if I have deadline exceeded. I don't know what that means. Okay, so this is not object undefined, undefined. What am I doing wrong here with the reduce? Let's see. Options, line items, weight. Let's see what the weight here is for. Okay, so I think one of the possible problems is that if there's no weight property, yeah, so the last one might not have a weight property. So let's go and see if we can add a condition here. Let's say plus b dot weight, then it'll be b dot weight or 0. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that. And again, there we go. Okay, that was the problem. So there was no, the one that doesn't have a weight at all just didn't, like, I was trying to reduce something that essentially didn't exist. So that didn't work. But my weight fee is 0. No, that's not right. Why is my weight fee 0? That's okay. Ha. Okay, so it's, if you take a look here at the line items, then you'll see that weight is not a property of line items directly. It's a property of this physical properties. So that means I need to go into that as well. So let's go back to the editor. And this needs to be b.physicalproperties.weight, b.physicalproperties.weight. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and publish that now. And refresh. And this was not rehearsed. My problems were real problems that I was dealing with. So, okay, so now you can see that the weight fee is added. And let's see if this makes sense. So it was 20 kilo here, 10 kilo here, so that's 30. 30 times 0.5. Does that make sense? Let's see what the aggregated one was. 15. Oh, why was it? Oh, maybe I did 10 and 5. Okay, yeah, I did 10 and 5. Okay, so that makes sense. Thought I was having like a math issue there. Okay, so there we go. Basically, we added a weight fee based on the weights of the products. And again, this is just a very simple example. You could make a fee based on any feature of the product, either that's included in the product dashboard or that you customize using an external collection. And the second type of additional fee that I want to give an example of is a fee that's based off of the user. Sorry, like something about the user. So let's say either their shipping details, their personal details, or something like that. So let's just give an example of the shipping location. Okay, so if we take a look just at the logs here, so we'll see inside of the options, then we have, I know it's a little hard to see because it's a little mangled, but we have shipping address, country, and here's the country that we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a specific fee if they're shipping outside of the US, let's say. So if the country is not US, then I'm going to add an additional fee. If it is US, then there will be no additional fee. And we're going to need to tap into options and shipping address and country. So let's go back to our editor, and I'm going to comment out this fee that we added here. And I'm going to comment this out as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another fee, and I'm going to say const, let's see, let's call it international shipping fee. And then we're going to say options. No, let's say, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. Okay, let's do it like this. If options dot shipping, what was it called again? I already forgot. Options, and also take a look at the documentation itself. So if you go over here, options, so we have here shipping, it was shipping address country, shipping address country equals US. Okay, so if the shipping country is equal to US, then I'm just going to return here. And you'll see that I'm not returning anything. So I'm not returning currency, I'm not returning additional fees, and that basically means that no additional fees will be added in the checkout. And if we don't return here, so that means if the country is not the US, then we're going to say that the international shipping fee should be equal to, I don't know, let's say 10. And then we're going to say, okay, so I could essentially just do it like this. Thinking on the fly here. So we're going to have here const international shipping fee is equal to, uncomment all this. So this will be international fee, and we can call this international shipping fee. And then price itself, we'll just have it as $23.95, and it's not taxable. And we're going to pass that in here. So international shipping fee. International shipping fee. Okay, so again, just to reiterate what we did, we added a condition. So if the country is the US, then it'll return. It'll just return nothing. And otherwise, it'll go ahead and complete the rest of this function and then return the currency and additional fees, which means it will charge this international shipping fee. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that and go back to our cart and refresh. No, let's see. So it's Albania, so it should have that. Let's see, one second. Country, shipping address, country. Let's see. Oh. Interesting. Refresh, failed with status code 502. Maybe my site didn't publish. Let's see. Country. Try refreshing again. Hard refresh. That doesn't work. I'll try. Oh, there we go. Okay, just need to refresh again. And I'm sorry if that loud noise startled anyone. There we go. Okay, so we have the international shipping fee because we're shipping to Albania, which is not in the US. But if I change this to United States and I choose any state, then our international shipping fee is gone. Okay, so that's just another example of how to customize your checkout experience using the additional fees SPI. So just to summarize what we did today, I'm first we introduced the SPIs, specifically the additional fees SPI. We showed how to install it on your website and how to set up the config file. And then we talked about how to customize the actual function, which is the additional fees function here inside of the JS file that's created for you, and how to either create a condition based on which you will add fees or not, or based on certain properties of the product, etc., to calculate a custom fee. And this gets added to your cart page and your checkout page and the final payment all automatically. So there's no need to go in and recreate this entire page all by yourself, which is a lot of work. So yeah, if you like this video, please don't forget to like. And if you want to see more videos like this coming out weekly, then you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel just so that you get notified. Heads up, we are very close to reaching the 1,500 subscribers mark, upon which we will be having a live session where you can come and ask me any questions regarding Wix and Velo and stuff like that, and we'll try and work them out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.